And I've always found it can be quite a confusing topic. I think, there's a lot of, quite rightly, noise around net carbon zero and what ESG is all about and how this can impact organisations. I mean, are there some examples of things that actually you can simplify for a business? Because I think part of what you're describing there is understanding how a business is acting today. It's not necessarily saying, here's a whole load of things you must do immediately, but actually the reporting enables a business to establish some of the opportunities, not just to potentially be more attractive to customers, but actually to do better by their local economy, their local markets, the social impact you've described, actually their profitability. So have you got some, a couple of examples that you could share with the audience of things they could do?
Absolutely. Let's explore this for a second. First of all, just touch on the benefits. Why should any business be looking at ESG? Cost of borrowing. This is, margins are thin in the construction industry. Cost of borrowing typically reduces by 10% if you have an ESG report, a proper ESG report, an ESG rating. Not just an ESG report. Anybody can write some piece of marketing fluff. It's one of the things which annoys me most. It's not marketing fluff. It's an ESG rating, like an ISO standard equivalent. And it's the same as a Moody's or a Morningstar credit rating. It is quantifiable. It's substantial. So cost of borrowing reducing by 10% in an industry which has a lot of borrowing represents an instant payback. And who says so? Well, PwC, Deloitte, McKinsey, the list goes on. This is a fact. It's been a thing for a long time. You want to grow your business. You want to exit. You want to acquire. So you need to appeal to venture capitalists, hedge funds, other investors. So value add right there. Now, what is it? We're at a 50-year low for unemployment. There is a talent shortage. Talent these days, who are you actually looking to employ, attract? You're looking to employ people in their 20s and 30s. They're out of university. You want them to grow with your business. You need to, if you, for example, need to employ somebody to make an embodied carbon calculation, this is a young mind, fresh, bring them on board, deliver it in-house perhaps, or there's other opportunities there as well. Talent acquisition and talent retention is very much driven by your business reflecting the qualities of these people. The ESG reporting is one approach. It's a very solid approach to reflect your values and to basically satisfy this concept that 67% of employees regard their employer's values as critical to their willingness to work for that business.
Wow.
So these are big numbers, yes. Now, of course, there's the ability to win a tender. Very much, we've already touched on that. And then there's also regulatory compliance. Now, just last week, the EU announced a policy whereby all new builds across the EU, domestic and commercial and public sector, will have to comply with ESG reporting. They're going to do this starting with mandatory embodied carbon reports. We are not that far behind in the UK. This is coming. Embodied carbon, the emissions in the project, taking a digital twin and calculating the construction process, the materials, the methodologies, the behaviors on site. Are you recapturing rainwater and water used in the construction? How are you managing your actual waste? How are you treating your staff, and so on. So there's an awful lot impacting the sector, and how we actually help the sector face these challenges is by working with them in a proportionate way according to the scale of their business. Our smallest client is 17 people. Our largest client is a government in the Middle East.
Wow.
You don't work with a large corporation or a government in the same way that you do perhaps with a micro SME or an SME.
So let me ask you this, because I've got a concern that I'll share, and I'm sure our audience will be interested. So this sounds like it's great for investors, it's great for customers, it's great for your local communities, it's great for winning work and sales. That sounds like it's going to be really expensive. I go back to, this was big PLCs who have got the budget, but surely for the smaller businesses, this is get your checkbook out in a time where costs are running amok in businesses. So how much is this going to cost for those smaller businesses, Humperdinck?
One's looking at somewhere in the order of £3,500 and working up to, well, corporate levels.
Wow. Okay.
It's affordable. Now, what's happening, and it's very interesting, is procurement teams are looking at ESG reporting, because at the moment everybody is sending out questionnaires on Excel spreadsheets. We've all seen them. One client the other day, construction client, bit slightly larger than strictly an SME, said that the tender they're sitting on at the moment has over 1,000 questions in it.
Wow.
That's an awful lot of time and effort which needs to be invested in assessing all of the responses. Wouldn't it be easier if a potential supplier could say, here is a certified, audited ESG report with a formal rating, and not have to spend that time? And then the procurement team can say, well, look, there's 500 responses here. That's 500 times 1,000 questions, which have to be reviewed. Oh, look, there's one. We know they're good. They've been audited. They've got something akin to an ISO certification. Say, yep, done that. Who are they going to choose?